honor, sacrifice, and service. It was all on display at a Memorial Day ceremony at the National Cemetery in Keokuk. Jim Huber came to watch his son, a member of the Navy, play in the band. He says military families like his know the sacrifices all too well.
Was out for 3 and 4 months at a time where you had no contact with him, you had no idea where he was at or what he was doing, and it gets unnerving at times.
Iowa Congressman Dave Loebsack attended today's events and supported military families who have loved ones who have served or are currently serving the country.
They're the ones who have to really pick up the slack and do the everyday work that has to be done. So they have to be appreciated. I think often we forget about them.
And for families who have loved ones serving the country, walking through cemeteries like this one can be a reminder of the sacrifice they can make.
You know, when you walk through and you see the people that don't come home, it hits home. It's home.
Dozens of families, friends, and veterans remember those who did make the ultimate sacrifice.
Without them, without the people serving, and since we're all volunteer Army now, and nobody is forcing them into this, they do it willingly, and it's a great thing about this country.
A country free because of the sacrifice so many have made. David Beuttel, WGEM News, Keokuk. Donna Bradford works as an academic advisor at WIU, but today she took the RAD course to learn how to protect herself.
We gave you some tools in terms of how to break free, also to use your legs, use your feet, use your core. You know, these are things that you don't really think of.
WIU Campus Police put on the free course today. Participants learned ground maneuvers and hand-to-hand combat skills.
We learned how to punch and kick, some ground defense that we covered today, how to get out of a bear hug, somebody's trying to choke you. Women are brought up not to hit and strike people and things like that, so we're trying to get over that barrier.
And the training isn't quiet either. Instructors are teaching participants how to use verbal cues in case of an attack.
No! Ready? No!
So we teach them to say no, and we all know what no means. It's going to draw attention to yourself, and it's remember you need to breathe. Just that muscle memory when we go through the repetition, so we have them say no every time.
Bradford says you never know when this training could come in handy.
Going to work, going to school, going to the grocery store, those things can happen at any given time. You could be even on a vacation somewhere.
And she recommends all women have at least some knowledge of self-defense because one day it could save your life.
I think it's very beneficial for women of all ages, young, old, middle. It's very beneficial.
Neighbor Brenda Horton says the trailer left a big hole in her garage and the winds ripped right through her fence.
We've got a locked gate, and it tore the arms completely off the locked gate.
The trailer you see behind me used to stand right here before last night's storm blew it over. Luckily, no one was occupying the home at the time. Horton says when she woke up this morning, she couldn't believe what she saw.
Just kind of went, there's a trailer on our work shed.
That's just a sample of what the heavy winds did when they ripped through the small town of Versailles around 9 o'clock last night. Brown County Emergency Manager Kurt Hanig says it could have been a lot worse.
We were very fortunate. We did have one injury that was transported by ambulance last night. Other than that, we did not have any injuries, and that's the most important thing. All of our possessions can be replaced.
The west side of town was hit the hardest, with several trees knocked down and shingles ripped off roofs. Horton says a neighbor found one of her fence panels several blocks away.
Our fencing, like I was saying, found it up the street up there. And some of the other guys, the town was working. And I said, if you see any more of these, let me know. He said, oh yeah, I saw 2 more over there. It was all over this end of town.
But she's thankful no one was seriously hurt.
Just praise God it didn't do any more damage or hurt anybody.